Hello again, everyone. I'm Paul the Nitro Skivers, and welcome to this edition of the Nitro Corner. Today is Sunday, April 17th, 2011, and as I promised you, this is a special edition of the Nitro Corner. It is time once again for the booking sheet. That's right, the booking sheet. As I look at TNA Lockdown and give you my predictions and what I see what's happening at the pay-per-view. So let's get right into it. The first match I would book is the X Division Escape match between Jeremy Buck, between the Generation Me, the Buck Brothers, so to speak, Robbie E, Suicide, Chris Sabin, Jay Lethal, Brian Kendrick, and the Amazing Red. And all 8 of these athletes are very good, but what I see is some dissension involving Generation Me and some outstanding moves, but at the end of the night, the experience of Chris Sabin is going to be coming out on top, and that's how I would book it. Chris Sabin will win the Escape match and get an X Division title shot. Next up, I would start booking the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match inside the Steel Cage. And Lockdown is all Steel Cage matches, so every match there's no escape in the cage. I would book next the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team matchup as Orlando Jordan and Eric Young team up to battle Inc. Incorporated versus Scott Steiner and Crimson versus the British Invasion of Robbie Brookside and Douglas Williams. I think this is going to be a very good tag team matchup, probably the sleeper match of the night. And in the end, I would say that there's going to be a mild upset. I say the momentum that Orlando Jordan and Eric Young are having as a tag team right now is very good. I see the momentum continuing. I think they'll pick up the win in that Fatal 4-Way match. Next up I would book would be Matt Morgan against Hernandez inside the cage, of course. And at the end of the day, the Mexican and American team has seen their push lately as a tag team and as two badasses in this business. Matt Morgan, the Genetic Blueprint, is kind of in a stall right now. I'm not really too sure where Matt Morgan is going these days. But in the end, I'm going to pick Hernandez to pick up the win in that match. Next up would be the Pope, D'Angelo De Niro against Samoa Joe. That's the next match I would book. This is a grudge match, and I would expect nothing less. The Pope will try to start out fast and try to sneak attack Joe from behind, but Joe will probably make his comeback and looking for a bit of revenge, so to speak. And in this bout, the revenge factor is going to play heavy in this matchup. How it would end, Samoa Joe would probably choke out the Pope and get his revenge. Samoa Joe is my pick to win that one as well. The next match I would book would be the hair versus title match as Madison Rayne takes on Mickie James for the women's title. Like I said before, this is building up to be like a Junkyard Dog, Michael Hayes dog collar match inside of a steel cage from 1980. The only difference is the Junkyard Dog Michael Hayes match had legit heat. The dog was blinded by the Freebird Cream. And for those of you who know what I'm talking about, back in 1980, it was one of the biggest angles of the 80s as far as I'm concerned. That made the Junkyard Dog a living legend in the Louisiana territory and especially in Mid-South Wrestling. That is a great feud. This is sort of similar to it, but Mickie James is going in there with a separated shoulder against Madison Rayne. I would book it just the same way as the Junkyard Dog Michael Hayes. Why? It has some heat. It has some heat. I would try to build on whatever heat they had now. I think Mickie James, one-armed, in my booking mind, could beat Madison Rayne, overcome the odds, and I would pick Mickie James to become the new TNA Knockout Division champion. But unfortunately, with a separated shoulder, she would have to give up the title Thursday on Impact. It would be a very emotional promo, but it would be worth the payoff to start the comeback, as far as I'm concerned. Next up, Jeff Jarrett versus Kurt Angle. All I'm going to say is this is the grudge match of the year. This is the apex of this feud. This feud will be settled inside of a steel cage. I think Kurt Angle at the end of the day is going to make Jeff Jarrett tap out. That is how it should end. Kurt Angle picks up the win inside the cage. It gets ultimate revenge on Jeff Jarrett, and especially Karen Angle / Jarrett. Next up is the Lethal. I would book the Lethal Lockdown, which is a War Games rules type of cage match. 2 men will start. Every 2 minutes, another man enters the ring. 1 man from each team will enter the ring at 2-minute intervals. And then the weapons start coming down off the top of the cage, including the lid, and Lethal Lockdown will begin. Pinfall or submission ends it. As Immortal, Matt Hardy, Bully Ray, Abyss, and Nature Boy Ric Flair will battle the 3 members of Fortune, Kazarian, and Beer Money, and their partner, the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels. Expect this to be a bloody, bloody match. There's going to be a lot of scars and bruises and broken bones. At the end of the day, though, I say something is bound to happen. Something runs afoul, and Immortal is going to probably pick up the win at Lethal Lockdown. And then the main event, Sting defends the TNA World Heavyweight title against Rob Van Dam and Mr. Anderson in a triple threat match inside of a steel cage. I expect a lot of intrigue in this matchup because of the X Factor. Where does Rob Van Dam stand? Does he stand on the side of good, or does he stand on the side of Immortal? He didn't say it this past Thursday on Impact, so I would say that Rob Van Dam would stand on the side of good. Sting will be defending his world title, but I do believe Mr. Anderson will always stand on the side that he's always been on, the asshole side, the Anderson way. And I think Mr. Anderson is going to pull it out with a mic check on Rob Van Dam out of nowhere. Mr. Anderson will become, once again, the 2-time TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And that is how I would book TNA Lockdown for this Sunday. Well, that is it for this special edition of the Nitro Corner, the booking sheet. The next time I'll be doing the booking sheet will be for Extreme Rules, coming Sunday, May 1st from Tampa, Florida. That is it for now. Tomorrow on the Nitro Corner, the Nitro Opinion, I will have comments about TNA Lockdown and more. Until then, this is Paul the Nitro Skyver saying so long, everybody, and thanks for watching the booking sheet.